Passion sent me this story and said, Torian, you have another triple P. And of course, whenever I get one of those, that always just gets me going. So today we will be talking about this guy named Tony Green, who is one of several, and I do mean several, people who called the woo-woo a hoax. And now that so-called hoax has fallen upon him. But not only has it fallen upon him, but it has fallen on a vast majority of his family members, because according to him, after he called the woo-woo a hoax, he now feels guilty about it because 13 of his family members tested positive for the virus and 2 of them died. So him just putting that out there in the atmosphere brought it back to him, but affected over a dozen members of his family and killed 2 of them. Let's see. When Tony Green decided to host a small family gathering in June, he was doing it partly out of frustration with the virus restrictions. In his home state of Texas, why doesn't that surprise me? It was either going to be Florida or Texas. He didn't know anyone who had gotten sick in those early months of the pandemic, when most cases centered around the East Coast, and he thought it was an overblown media hoax. Green, age 43, who wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post. So Green and his partner invited 4 people over to their home, his parents and his partner's parents, to stay for the weekend and enjoy meals, movies, and time by a lake together after months apart. I hope I'm not jumping the gun with this, but the fact that they said that his partner and not his wife leads me to believe that he might be in the academy. I don't know. I'm just saying, you know, when they use that term partner, I always think that, but I could be wrong, but I could be right. But within days, all 6 of them tested positive for the woo-woo, along with 8 more people in their extended families. Green developed serious symptoms requiring a 3-day hospital stay after the virus attacked his nervous system, but he eventually recovered. His father-in-law and his father-in-law's mother were not as lucky though, and both died from the virus. Green's father-in-law, whom he called his best friend, was on supplemental oxygen, improving until one day of his lungs collapsed, and the other filled with fluid, requiring the help of a ventilator and life support. After nearly 2 months on the machines, he died. In an interview with CNN's Anderson Cooper, Green said he feels a sense of guilt for hosting the get-together, even though no one knows who was the first to get it. Well, you shouldn't have had it. And then you had it in June. It was still in very early stages of this thing really going around. But see, people not taking it seriously. I think I did a video back in July of a guy doing the same reckless thing, and then he ended up catching it and he died. People keep playing around with this thing. They want to call it a hoax if they want to, but notice every time someone calls it a hoax, or every time someone comes out with a story like this guy and the one that I just mentioned, they always start off saying, I thought it was a hoax, I didn't take it seriously, now I got affected, or I lost a family member because of me being so careless. The feeling that I have is kind of like what I would say a drunk driver would get if they killed their family. He said, it was unintentional. This was my home. This is where it happened. So, you know, there is a sense of responsibility. And the experience of seeing 2 family members die from the virus, along with his own hospitalization, changed his view of the virus. Green said he now needs to be the example and bring awareness of the risk when people let their guard up, even around family. With the upcoming Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, Green said to take a little bit of extra precaution and hold family events if they're necessary outdoors in it or in a large space. But it's still considered a gathering. It still will be considered a gathering. Again, it will still be considered a gathering. I think you've got a reason to be afraid of it, he said, adding that if people are nervous to host or attend, I think maybe you should bow out this year. Right now, Green wrote in his op-ed, he feels like he can't escape the virus. It's torn up our family. It's all over my Facebook. It's the election. It's Trump. It's what I keep thinking about. He said, how many people would have gotten sick if I had never hosted that weekend? 1, maybe 2. The grief comes in waves, but that guilt just sits. Well, the one thing that he did do right is he accepts responsibility for what happened to his family and also himself. But at the end of the day, that's on him. People keep saying, oh, this thing isn't real and everything like that. But you keep seeing stories pop up like this every so often where someone says that they've lost somebody or they've caught it and now they believe it to be real. If this guy wasn't so reckless in his thinking and so quick to believe, you know what, in all the antics of that was coming out of his mouth about this virus, he would still have 2 family members with him here today. But it's too late now. You can't turn back the hands of time and reach back and bring back your family members and then further reach back to that bad decision that you was getting ready to make and say, maybe I should rethink this. But hey, he's one of several people that are being real reckless when it comes to this virus. And people out there can continue to say that it's not real and it's made up and it's all this, that, and the third. People keep saying it's a pandemic. That's the thing. Sure, granted, they probably did plan this, or maybe it was an honest accident that that got out of hand. And even if it was planned, the virus is still active and the virus is still making people sick. The virus is still killing people. Planned or not, it's still here and it's still real.